Hello and good evening. It's great to be here. My name is Raj Mathai with NBC Bay Area. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the American India Foundation's 20th anniversary celebration. With my job at NBC, I have the privilege and really just the opportunity to deal with a lot of nonprofits and for-profit organizations throughout the Bay Area, throughout the country, and throughout the world. And I got to say, AIF is one of the strongest in terms of its mission, how it's run, its dedication from its supporters, and really it is near and dear to my heart. So once again, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. On behalf of our honored guests, our co-chairs, and the California board, we want to thank you for tuning in. We promise no IST here, no Indian Standard Time. We're going to make this fast-paced and really just an engaging program. Bottom line, we're here to help our community locally and globally. Now, before the show begins, a few housekeeping notes here. I'd like to give you a roadmap of how to navigate the site. We're also used to doing all this stuff on screen nowadays. My friends at AIF will tell you the most important button, of course, is the donate button that you're going to see right there at the top of your screen. Rest assured, you'll be able to make a donation and still be able to watch the program. So you can do two things at once. But again, donate if you can. We're just happy that you're tuning in tonight. You do have the option of paying right now via credit card or later via an AIF invoice. And because we're also socially media engaged nowadays, you can multitask. And yes, you can chat with your friends during this call, either by text or video chat. And you can actually see a roster of who's logged in on the lower right side of your screen. And lastly, you're going to find bios of tonight's speakers just above the Master Show window. And you can learn more about AIF's LAMP program. That's our Learning and Migration program, which we will highlight in just a few minutes. So with all of that out of the way, let's get to why we're here. Let's get to our show. It's my pleasure to introduce AIF's remarkable California board co-chairs, Samir Chadha, co-founder and managing director at Westbridge Capital Partners, and Riaz Taplin, founder and CEO of Riaz Capital.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. It's a real pleasure to have you at our annual spring virtual gala. On behalf of the California board and the AIF board, I'd like to welcome all of you here. The fact that you're attending this event says what's really important, AIF and its mission.
Tonight, we're here to celebrate 20 years of AIF's history. I remember when I first started attending these celebrations 20 years ago. I am proud and impressed by AIF's impact over the past 20 years, and I'm delighted you're here celebrating with us tonight.
As Riaz spoke about, AIF has been supporting the underprivileged in India for 20 years. Due to the pandemic, the poor in India have never needed us more. And that's why it's important tonight that all of us step up and really support AIF.
I had the privilege just before the pandemic broke out to go and visit an AIF LAMP center and see directly with my own eyes how LAMP changes children's lives. It takes just $25, less than the cost of your average dinner in the US, with AIF's Learning and Migration program to change the life of a child on an annual basis.
I hope you'll be inspired, just as Riaz and I have been, to support these wonderful programs at AIF.
Samir and Riaz, thank you so much, not only for your leadership at AIF, but also for your generosity. And speaking of generosity, if you can, we do ask you to donate, really just to help the cause of what we're doing at AIF. Tonight, we are celebrating 20 years of this great organization. You might know back in 2001, in response to the Gujarat earthquake, that's how AIF started. And now 20 years later, we are in another crisis, not just for India, but globally.
The American India Foundation
is committed to serving
India's underprivileged,
with a special focus
on women, children,
and youth.
I hope you will support this worthy cause.
I was fortunate to be a part of AIF when it was founded 20 years ago, started by Silicon Valley pioneers who saw just an incredible opportunity to improve the social and economic well-being of over 1.3 billion people in India. Since then, AIF has helped touch and impact nearly 7 million lives.
For me, AIF has the perfect trifecta. It has really strong leadership. It has a really wide range of very relevant on-the-ground programming and operational efficiency.
The real result in this case is we're helping more people.
It is all about walking the walk, not just talking the talk when we are contributing. So I was compelled to be part of AIF. I'm super inspired by the work that the teams do at the grassroots level to improve all of the areas of focus within AIF. The most exciting part of it was really we launched the LAMP program, and we saw directly and heard directly from the beneficiaries of the LAMP program of how it has transformed lives.
AIF has some incredible programs. One of my favorites is Mansi, which aims to reduce maternal and infant mortality in India. 1 in 4 maternal and newborn deaths in the world occur in India. The cost to train a healthcare worker is about $300, and each such healthcare worker serves at least 500 beneficiaries. There is no place on this planet where a dollar goes that far.
These are certainly incredibly difficult times for people throughout the world. But what keeps me inspired and what keeps me motivated is knowing that every hour of time that I give, or that we give as a family, every dollar that we give has a tremendous impact in India. When we get those stories back from children or women or anyone empowered or educated through AIF's impact, I know that on the other side of the world, standing right here, I've helped to contribute making a big difference.
We look forward to amazing momentum next year and all the very best.
As you can see, AIF is well positioned and well poised to make an impact through its transformative interventions in education, livelihoods, public health, and leadership development. All those factors are so crucial. Seemingly undaunted by the COVID pandemic, AIF and its NGO partners have redoubled their efforts on the ground in India to continue to serve those who seek a better life through empowerment, particularly women and girls. As we open tonight's program, we have raised just more than $1 million to further AIF's mission. And we want to thank a special thank you to all of our generous sponsors and donors. So just over $1 million. They still need more money, AIF does. The goal tonight is to get to $1.6 million. So help us get there. We don't want to fall short of our budget here. We are confident that you can help us bridge that gap, and that need is urgent. Next up, I'd like to introduce to you Nishant Pandey. Nishant is AIF's driving force and its CEO. He began his career in banking, but quickly realized that banking we'll put over there. Development was his true calling.
Thank you, Raj. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. The last 12 months have been extremely challenging for all of us. But despite all the fear, all the anxiety and uncertainty around us, we have seen exceptional generosity to help each other, to help those who are not as privileged. COVID-19 has made AIF's mission more important than ever. Large-scale livelihoods destruction, millions of children missing out on essential learning because of school closure, adolescent girls, women, and newborn not having access to timely and quality health services because of COVID. All of this requires innovative, out-of-the-box and courageous solutions. But more than that, it requires a committed base of supporters who believe in giving back, who believe in the AIF mission of empowering underprivileged women, children, and youth in India, and doing it in a way that it builds a lasting bridge between the two largest democracies of the world. AIF is very privileged to count you as its supporter. It's only because of your support that we could provide COVID relief to more than 500,000 underprivileged people across 18 states of India over the last 12 months, and more than 20,000 fresh meals to frontline health workers across the US, including in the Bay Area. So thank you so much for being there. Despite all the challenges, we have a lot to celebrate. 2021 is a very special year for AIF. So while we wait for the vaccine, we are celebrating our 20th anniversary virtually. I wish we could all be together in person, but I'm happy that you are able to join from the safety and comfort of your home. On this very special occasion, it is my honor and privilege to announce a historical, a very exceptionally generous, and a special gift from a very special couple who have been the cornerstone of the AIF community in the Bay Area and beyond. I don't need to introduce them because you know them already. Ladies and gentlemen, Lata Krishnan and Ajay Shah and their children Kavita and Rohan are donating $5 million to AIF's fellowship program. This is the biggest single gift in the history of AIF, and we are immensely grateful and thrilled. Thank you so much, Lata. Thank you so much, Ajay. The fellowship program is the longest running program of AIF and is celebrating its own 20th anniversary this year. From our 20 years of running this strategic program in the US-India corridor, we believe that the program is at a crucial stage where it can expand, grow, and flourish as a separate entity within the umbrella AIF. This seed grant of $5 million from Lata and Ajay will help us pursue this exciting vision. To talk further about the gift and the vision behind it, I want to now invite someone who truly doesn't need any introduction at all. He has been a long-standing and a very passionate supporter of AIF. And when he was the co-chair of the AIF board, he was the one who encouraged us and guided us to bring growth and sustainability to our US-India bridge building mandate, of which the fellowship program is the most prominent contributor. And therefore, there is no better person than him to have a conversation with Lata and Ajay on the vision behind this gift. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Executive Chairman of MasterCard, Chairman Emeritus of AIF, Padam Shri Ajay Banga.
So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us as we're trying to celebrate AIF's efforts and commitments to making a better bridge between the US and India. And who better to start that conversation with than with Lata Krishnan, who was a co-founder of AIF 20 years ago, along with her husband Ajay Shah. And the two of them have been very generous benefactors to AIF over time. And in fact, what we're going to do is talk about another opportunity where they are putting their might and shoulder to the wheel to help improve this relationship and this bridge between India and the US. As you know, AIF started with 20 years back with a commitment to helping when the Gujarat earthquake happened. But we've gone from being a disaster relief organization to being an organization that cares about developing programs with private sector, with NGOs, and then working with the government to scale them to help education, migrant workers, healthcare, and basically make a difference, move the needle on poverty. That's the idea. And who better, as I said, to start off with than Lata and Ajay. So Lata and Ajay, thank you and welcome. And most importantly, thank you for your friendship. And Lata, I cannot thank you enough for the privilege of having been a co-chair with you for a while. And Ajay, I cannot thank you enough for caring about the topic that we're about to discuss. I know this started as a conversation up between us, and I'm very proud that you've made such a big decision to put $5 million to work to help to build this bridge between the US and India even stronger and even better using AIF. So I just want to start by thanking you and acknowledging you both for what you're doing for us.
Thank you, Ajay.
Well, thank you, Ajay, and let me not forget to say that you've been part of the inspiration for how this program can be scaled and where we could take it. So thank you for your interest and therefore for your participating in and being such a leader at AIF.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks to both of you. So let me start with that while you're on there, Ajay, for a second. maybe the audience will benefit a little bit from you helping us all understand this program, why you think it's a good idea, what your personal desire behind it is, and why do you see it's something that AIF should be involved with?
Yes, this program, the fellowship program, has been in action for over 20 years now. So it's one of the largest programs focused on a one-year fully paid fellowship for primarily today young Americans that are able to go and work in India with a development partner. It's a program with a very rigorous selection process. We have typically over 1,000 applicants each year, and we select roughly about 25. In other words, our selection process is very rigorous, and many of the AIF community who've been involved with these selection interviews and so on know how difficult it's been to be able to figure out who to put forward as a in the program. It's amazing the quality of the applicants from the Ivies, people who've been extremely accomplished in their lives, and that they want to contribute towards the development of India. And this really creates opportunities for the bridge building that you refer to. This really creates opportunities for young Americans to work with development organizations in India on the ground. And I think a big part is that we create young leaders who are then going to be able to sustain this kind of development activity throughout their careers. They may go from this 1 year to graduate school. They may go to consulting. Many of them go to corporate positions, governments, and development organizations. So there's been tremendous benefits for the young leaders as well as for the organizations on the ground, because they are now getting the benefit of some tremendous resources to help them think broader about their programs, think broader about how they market those programs best. And the relationships and the bridges are well beyond the 1 year that the fellows spend on the ground. Lata, any further thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Ajay. I would just add, Ajay, that, I think through service, we've made some powerful investments in the US-India citizen diplomacy by shaping the next generation of leaders who will be more inclusive and socially minded, who will be advocates to collaborate to solve the most pressing issues in India. I also think that the fellowship has been an innovation lab of sorts, to engage our fellows with challenges on the ground and offer creative solutions. And finally, I would say that 75% of our alumni have pursued a career or service, and this has been a springboard for so many social entrepreneurs. We have sensitized the next-gen CSR, corporate social responsibility units of companies and impact investing professionals to grassroots challenges and close the gap between corporate goals and the development sector needs. And I think that, when we started the fellowship, we were more into disaster relief. Then we grew into the expansion phase. And today I would call the fellowship as one that is focused on accelerating impact.
I think that's a really interesting point. The idea of getting the private sector's energy and enthusiasm to come into the place where this development sector has to work. I mean, that's a high calling. And I think if you can do that, because both of you know this, that despite the generosity of people like you all and the other donors that AIF has had and other such organizations, there isn't enough generosity or philanthropic money or government money to solve some of the deep problems. But the private sector's capital and ingenuity and technology and people can make a real difference. And I think one of the things you guys are doing with this program is you're energizing that funnel, which I find very attractive. And in a funny way, you both know this, but for the audience as well, my own desire between the US and India is a much tighter partnership as countries. And if the people understand each other better, and they contribute to solving real problems in each other's countries, how can we not become better partners? We will, right? Those 500 people Ajay you spoke about, Alata you mentioned, their networks are so large that maybe they impact 10 people each. That's 5,000 people who will care more about America and India. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a cool place to be. So I think you guys are creating what I think is a force multiplier, which, once again, I mean, that's such a cool idea.
And I think what the beauty we bring to the table from an AI perspective is that we are trying to influence the ecosystem, bringing people from all walks of life together in a movement to address poverty and transform India into an equitable society. So it's a collective philanthropic model, leveraging government and corporate resources and building solutions through partnerships. And such innovations include, quality of care, right? We talk about leverage and deliverables and outcomes, but at the end of the day, when I go to visit our programs and meet a young mother with her baby, or a young child who has been saved from early migration into the brick kiln fields of Orissa or in salt pans of Gujarat, or a young child or a young youth who has a disability and he or she wants to gain secure, gainful employment. These are individual lives. This is what motivates me year after year to participate with this amazing organization. And over the past 20 years, just like you'll see in today's gala with Lakshman and Khushbu, there are millions like that over the past 20 years. We've been able to positively impact over 6.7 million lives across the last 20 years of 26 states. It gives me great source of pride. And, I think that none of this would have been possible without the communities across the nation in the United States. So whilst it is true that as a family, we probably devote more financial dollars to the Bay Area and to the US in terms of our philanthropic commitments, we can never forget that a part of us will always remain from where we come from, and we are proud of that. And the US-India partnership is historically been rooted in the shared values of democracy and the promise of innovation. So I just feel that, that's why we invest in the people-to-people ties between these two countries. And that's what translates ideas into tangible. So with this in mind...
as always, you've got this ability to make me get captivated by the idea of this vision. And I know you once described to me what it was like to go on a trip to India and see AIF's people actually working on the ground and to meet the beneficiaries. And you've always said that the more we can encourage people to come see it, the more they will feel the impact of those 6.7 million people, one person at a time, right? We're making a difference to one person at a time. And you've always been committed to that idea of these trips.
I truly believe that with the core values that we talked about earlier, that what we feel at AIF are our core values, translate into this new name we've given the fellowship, which the team has identified, which is now going to be called the AIF Banyan Impact Fellowship. And, the banyan tree is a majestic symbol of growth and sustenance and longevity. And it has an intricate ecosystem that grows with each other and grows stronger over generations. And I think just as it spreads its roots and over the course of time become individual trees, this is how strongly we see this representing what not just what the fellows do, but what AIF does. And I would just say that something that Nelson Mandela said many, probably 25 years ago. He said, each of us has our own light, and if we let ourselves shine, we unconsciously give others the permission to do the same. And our fellows and our communities, both here and in India, ones we work with, are all sources of light. So we don't see a better platform than AIF to innovate and build programs in India. And as far as our family is concerned, it's an amazing platform to participate with. And for those of you out there, while I understand that it's difficult to make a trip to India to visit programs, at least at the moment, when you get an opportunity, make that your vacation. It will transform you in ways that you perhaps don't understand. It certainly did for me. And if you can't go to India, then engage with your communities here, be that light and shine on.
Terrific. Warm words as always from both of you and inspirational. You actually typify what I think is the highest value of being good people, and that's decency. And it comes through in every way you speak, how you behave, and what you do. And I just want to thank you both and congratulate you again for your own personal successes, but how well you're creating an ecosystem for your family and all of us around you. So thank you very much. And for those of you watching us, I hope you're going to enjoy the 20th anniversary gala. It really is a landmark for AIF, and you're going to now get to see an interview of two beneficiaries of AIF's program to help migrant workers' children benefit from a real education. Thank you again, Lata and Ajay. All the best.
And thank you, Ajay. Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure how we can top that. That's pretty incredible. Thank you, Lata and Ajay. Lata also makes the best Indian breakfast this side of India. It is phenomenal. So if you get an invite to her house to have some dosa and chutneys and everything, take it up. Take her up on the offer. It's phenomenal. Tonight, we have a special treat for you. I'm delighted to introduce Robert Chatwani, Chief Marketing Officer at Atlassian, who will introduce our next guest with a special performance. Robert.
Thank you, Raj. I hope all of you are enjoying today's program just as much as I am. You know, as a 20-year supporter of the American India Foundation, I'm incredibly proud of the organization's impact. AIF has touched nearly 7 million lives throughout all of India. That is a testament to the power of the AIF community and to all of AIF's supporters. Now, we have an incredibly special treat for you. A bespoke musical concert by a world-renowned sitarist, Ustad Shahid Parvez Khan. He is truly a living legend. He was a recipient of India's prestigious Padma Shri Award, recognizing his work and his contributions to the arts in India. Now, as a sixth-generation musician, Ustad Shahid Parvez Khan's musical style emphasizes the unique capabilities of the sitar, combining the power and energy of the instrument with nuance and expression. Please join me in welcoming Ustad Shahid Parvez Khan.
Very nice. Thank you so much for that performance. Next up, really the highlight of this evening, our Learning and Migration program. We're going to watch a short video about the plight of children of migrant workers. But more importantly, we're going to hear from two beneficiaries whose lives have been transformed by AIF.
सांग मैंने समस्ते लर्निंग रिसर्च सेंटर पढ़ूँ आम समस्ते मिलीमिशी पढ़ले आमको बहुत भल लगे और मजा भी लगे से सबुदिन लर्निंग रिसर्च सेंटर को पढ़ा जाए और किसी शिखा मिले मु केबे पढ़ा बंद करी ना और मु पढ़ी गोटे शिक्षयित्री हेबी।
मेरा लड़का जो LIS सेंटर में पढ़ते हैं, जब से सेंटर में जा रहे हैं तब से पढ़ाई में बहुत उनका उत्साह बढ़ा है और ऐसे ही चलता रहा कि हम लोग हमारे और पीढ़ी जो है वो भी ऐसे पढ़े, कभी ये सेंटर बंद ना हो, ऐसे आपसे आशा करती हूँ और मैं AIF का धन्यवाद करती हूँ।
यहाँ पे हर साल लगातार RCC सेंटर हो रहा है और यहाँ के बच्चे बहुत ही बेनिफिटेड हो रहे हैं और ड्रॉप आउट जो है वो 0% हो गया है। क्लास 1 to 8 कोई भी बच्चे ऐसे नहीं हैं जो कि यहाँ पे ड्रॉप आउट है। और उसके साथ साथ हमारे यहाँ के जो 2 टीचर्स लैंप ट्रेनिंग में गए थे, बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से उस लैंप ट्रेनिंग में जो कुछ भी उनको शिक्षा मिला यहाँ पे बच्चों को सिखाया और उसके माध्यम से परीक्षा में भी यहाँ के बच्चे अच्छे कर रहे हैं।
I particularly love the LAMP program, where we're giving the children of migrant workers an opportunity at getting an education. And through that, they're not only breaking the cycle of poverty for themselves, but for their children and their children's children, literally for generations to come. And I can't imagine a better way to improve people's lives and to have an impact. And here in the US, we take education for granted and we have so many opportunities, and I love that we can provide that same opportunity to others to really make a difference in their lives.
I'm one of these guys who wakes up every morning and my first thought is gratitude. And then after that, I'm thinking about what can I do to have an impact? What can I do to make the world better, or even a person's life better in any way possible? In Silicon Valley, people often talk about investing in unicorns. And when I think of what AIF has done and what Lata has done, really she's the ultimate social unicorn. We're not looking at, will the company be worth $1 billion? We're looking at, can we have an impact on the lives of 1 billion people? Let's do it.
We're now going to hear from Sudhnya Shroff, a longtime AIF supporter. She's going to give us her firsthand experience working with families in the villages as she took on a learning center beautification project with the community. Please welcome Sudhnya, an engineer turned artist from Los Altos, California.
I've had the rare privilege of visiting Noapada, a difficult to access rural part of Orissa, not once, but twice. By 2015, when I first visited, AIF's LAMP program had already successfully penetrated 600 of the 640 villages in Noapada with their right to education outreach. By cooperating with local public schools, LAMP provides temporary hostels to children of migrant workers so that their education does not suffer disruption when parents travel across state borders for seasonal work. Unfortunately, as we can imagine, the COVID-19 pandemic has only further exacerbated this divide. While children in urban India have relatively seamlessly transitioned to online schooling, the disruption in education in rural India has been horrific. Not having enough copies only made the job of equitably sharing the resources further challenging. But they persevered. And we can join them and make sure that no child gets left behind. For just $25, we can guarantee that one child gets a whole year's worth of education. Even as the children watched and helped and painted alongside me, and the pure joy and gratitude for what opportunities we as a community were providing them. The story of Khushbu is one such heartwarming story, a story of hope, of the pluck and mettle of one girl who was determined not to let enormous odds, like having to stay in a hostel away from her parents from second grade onwards, stand in her way. She not just embraced what LAMP had to offer, she ran with it. Along with her sisters, she became part of the AIF LAMP family right at its inception in 2005. Khushbu overcame gender barriers, making history by becoming the very first woman to receive a college degree in her village, especially in the world of STEM. Here is her story in her own words. My absolute honor to introduce to you, as we celebrate Women's History Month, the trailblazer of her village, Khushbu Mahanand from Brahmaniguda.
मैं बहुत लकी हूँ कि जब से मैं पढ़ाई के स्टार्ट करी तब से हम लोग के गांव में सीजनल हॉस्टल ओपन हुआ। उसकी वजह से मैं पूरा स्टार्टिंग से एंडिंग तक का मेरा ठीक से पढ़ाई अच्छे से हुआ। पढ़ाई में बहुत सारा चीज़ है जो हमें सीखना चाहिए, और अगर हम भाटी का काम करेंगे तो हमें कुछ नहीं सीख पाते। और साइंस इसलिए ली कि मैं साइंस से सब कुछ बना है, कैसे करके क्रिएट हुआ है, कैसे करके आकाश में तारे हैं, कैसे करके सूर्यलोक है, सब के बारे में जानने के लिए बहुत इच्छा था, तो इसलिए मैं साइंस लेकर के पढ़ाई करी। अगर सीजनल हॉस्टल नहीं होता तो हम लोग को शायद बाहर जाना पड़ता मम्मी पापा के साथ, बिकॉज यहाँ पर तो कोई कमाने के लिए सुविधा भी नहीं था, और हम लोग बच्चे थे तो खाना वाना खुद बना के नहीं भी खा सकते, और जैसे करके भी हम लोग को जाना पड़ता। लेकिन सीजनल हॉस्टल के कारण हम लोग अच्छे से पढ़ाई कर पाए। सीजनल हॉस्टल में हर चीज़ का फैसिलिटी था, खाने का, रहने का, खेलने का, सब चीज़ का फैसिलिटी था। और वहाँ पर ना बुक्स लोग देते थे पढ़ने के लिए, टीचर लोग रहते थे, टीचर लोग बहुत मोटिवेट करते थे, और बहुत सारे फ्रेंड्स लोग होते हैं, सब पूरा ग्रुप डिस्कशन करते थे हम लोग, जिसके कारण पढ़ने का वो जीतेगा या मैं जीतूँगी, वो हारेगा या मैं जीतूँगी, ऐसे टाइप का कंपटीशन लेवल थोड़ा बढ़ता था, इसलिए बहुत अच्छा लगता था। सीजनल हॉस्टल के वजह से हम लोग का बात करने का तरीका बदला और बड़े को सम्मान देते हैं, छोटे को प्यार करते हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ जानने को मिला। अभी मैं बीएड कर रही हूँ, बीएड करने के बाद और पढ़ूंगी और मैं केमिस्ट्री प्रोफेसर बनूंगी। आई वॉन्ट टू थैंक AIF जिसके वजह से मैं इतना दूर तक पहुँच पाई हूँ। एंड जितने भी सीजनल हॉस्टल के टीचर थे उन लोग को भी थैंक्स बोलना चाहूँगी।
What an inspiring young woman. We wish her the best. And what a story she has. Her story is still not finished. We can't wait to see what she does in the years to come. With dedication and effective leadership, AIF has been able to continue its work. 139 million people migrate from remote villages in search of work. 1 out of every 5 is a child out of school in the salt mines of Gujarat or with their parents in the brick kilns of Andhra Pradesh. In an effort to keep children in school, and that's so much of the program right now tonight, keep those kids in school, AIF works with governments to set up seasonal hostels for children of migrant workers so they can continue to receive quality education and stay in school. Tonight, Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani, a Padma Shri recipient and a philanthropist known to so many of us, will introduce our second inspiring young graduate and entrepreneur from the LAMP program, who is a former child migrant who used to accompany his parents to the brick kilns of Hyderabad.
As an entrepreneur for 50 years, I understand the importance of courage, resilience, and creativity in the entrepreneurial journey. My introduction is about someone who's one of the most inspiring young entrepreneurs who are on this journey. He's the son of migrant workers from Hyderabad, and in spite of all the odds against him, he was determined and joined AIF's Learning and Migration or LAMP program in 2nd grade, and he stayed with it. He then learned physics and somehow got inspired to become an entrepreneur. He has come up with many new innovations, including a safety wristlet for women, an award-winning money sanitizing device at petrol pumps, and a motorcycle that runs mostly on water. He's now an entrepreneur at IIT Bhubaneswar's startup incubation program. For someone so young, he has already achieved a lot, so I'm delighted to introduce Lakshman Dundi to you.
मैं एक गाड़ी बनाया हूँ जो कि पानी से चलता है और ये पॉल्यूशन नहीं कर रहा है। सीजनल हॉस्टल में पढ़ाई नहीं करता तो अभी मैं एक माइग्रेशन एक लेबर रह जाता और मेरा डेवलपमेंट नहीं होता। तो इसीलिए मेरे लिए सीजनल हॉस्टल बहुत बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट था और इम्पोर्टेंट भी है।
खबर बार्ता हम तो टीवी ना बाहर से जे देखी करी मोर मन खुश लागसी लोग मने कहे सज्जे।
अभी मेरा जो बिजनेस चल रहा है उसके में जो मेरे को मुनाफा हो रहा है उस फाइनेंशियल को मैं मेरे माँ बापा को भी सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ। मेरे भाई बहन भी अभी पढ़ाई जारी है और अभी फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन ठीक है और अभी मेरा माँ बापा माइग्रेशन नहीं कर रहे हैं। जब मैं 2-3 क्लास पढ़ाई कर रहा था तो वहाँ मैं 2 साल माँ बापा के साथ हैदराबाद गया और माइग्रेशन के गए थे। 2 साल के बाद जब हम लौटे हैं तो वहाँ पर एक चल रहा था सीजनल हॉस्टल, तो वहाँ गए। हमारा जो लोकोदृष्टि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है और जो भी सीजनल हॉस्टल के बारे में हमारा पेरेंट्स को बुझाएं समझाएं कि हॉस्टल में पढ़ाई होता है, उसको छोड़ के तुम जा सकते हैं बोल के जब समझाए हैं तो मैं यहाँ पढ़ाई करने के लिए मैं इच्छुक था। और वहाँ इसके उस टाइम 2006 में हम सीजनल हॉस्टल खमतराई में आए और वहाँ पढ़ाई किया और वहाँ 2006 से 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 से 15 तक हम यहाँ पढ़ाई किए हैं। अभी मैं बीएससी पढ़ाई के साथ एक बिजनेस भी चला रहा हूँ और एक मेरा कंपनी भी है और मैं एक एंटरप्रेन्योर हूँ। जब मैं सीजनल हॉस्टल में पढ़ाई कर रहा था तो उस टाइम में जो टीएलएम रहता है उसमें जो विज्ञान का इक्विपमेंट रहता है तो वहीं से मैं इंस्पायर हुआ हूँ और इनोवेशन किया हूँ। मैं बड़े बड़े साइंटिस्ट के बारे में पढ़े किया, माइकल फैराडे, थॉमस एडिसन, आइंस्टाइन, उसके बारे में पढ़ा हूँ। तो उनसे मैं इंस्पायर होकर जागरूक हुआ। क्योंकि अभी पेट्रोल डीजल यूज हो रहा है तो पॉल्यूशन ज़्यादा क्रिएट हो रहा है और नेचुरल सोर्स ख़त्म हो जाएगा। नेचुरल सोर्स को सेव करने के लिए और पॉल्यूशन को सेव करने के लिए और साधारण लोग भी ये गाड़ी को यूज कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि पानी मुफ्त में मिल जाएगा जहाँ भी। गांव में तो माइग्रेशन कम नहीं है, लेकिन जो शिक्षा है, जो बच्चे लोगों का शिक्षा डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, जैसे कि हमारा जो सीजनल हॉस्टल चल रहा है तो बच्चे लोग बहुत पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, ड्रॉप आउट नहीं है, एक भी ड्रॉप आउट अभी नहीं है, एक दो भी नहीं है। सीजनल हॉस्टल को जिन लोगों ने सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं उनको तो हम कभी देखे नहीं, लेकिन उनको जो पैसा से हमारा सीजनल हॉस्टल जो चली है तो उनको माध्यम से बहुत मेरा जैसा और हमारा जो भाई बहन का शिक्षा में बहुत बदलाव आया है और उनको मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करता हूँ।
Okay, now I just want to stand up and clap. What an incredible story that is. We're filled with incredible stories tonight. And I got to add, Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani, an IIT legend, now ushering in perhaps the new legends of IIT. Every single dollar helps. Again, you being here tonight helps. We can all do this together. It is that incredible. You'll see that donation ticker right there on the bottom of your screen. And I've got to add on a personal note here, I am so grateful to be a part of AIF's 20th anniversary celebration. We want to thank you for tuning in. On behalf of everyone at AIF, thanks for your support for this life-saving and life-changing organization. Good night, and we will see you next year. Be safe.